Well, massive changes coming for the RMA. It's no longer, you could say. Joining us to discuss this is Environment Canterbury Chairperson Deon Swiggs. Hi, Deon. Nice to see you.
Hey, Chris. How are you?
Very well, thanks. No surprises, really, but is there anything in the documentation that the government's put out today that has surprised you?
Yeah, no surprises, really. I think people have been talking for a long time that the Resource Management Act was not fit for purpose. It was very complicated. To do anything, it was quite a process and filled with rules and plans and everything. So the government has done what they said. They wanted to simplify the planning process, and that's what's come out today. There's a couple of surprises. One of them for us was that they're going to be extending, the word is extending and giving continuance to a number of consents that are about to expire. So the planning framework won't come into effect until the middle of next year, and then come into the new planning framework not until 2027. But what they're doing is proposing to put an act into Parliament under urgency to give continuance to all of the consents that are out there across the country that may be coming up for expiry or for renewal within that time of the transition. So that was a bit of a surprise. We weren't expecting that to come out today.
Okay. Essentially what this, looking at all the documentation, what the government is trying to do is streamline everything, right? It's less bureaucracy. And as I was saying to you off here, all the press releases that I've received from the likes of Infrastructure New Zealand are delighted with this. They say we can have better progress in a country that needs productivity. Are you on the same boat as them or not?
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about when you say streamlining things. I think it's great to get streamlining. There is a lot of work that we need to do to make sure that we don't have unneeded bureaucracy in our system. But when you streamline something, there's always a trade-off. And industry is going to love this because they don't need to go and get permissions from anybody to be able to do work that they want to do on their land. Private property rights are going to be a lot more strengthened in this new system. But the trade-offs potentially, and the environmentalists will go, well, the trade-offs are likely to be the environment. We're not going to have the same environmental protections. We're not going to have the same ability to have a say about environmental outcomes. Environmental impacts that different activities may have. That's the trade-off. So it's going to take a little bit of time to look at the system, look at the 700 pages of the RM, the two bills, and the screeds of information that's out there. That there's so much to really say, okay, what are those unintended consequences? And that will be the focus of some of our feedback that we may give to the Crown. But it is good to see that there is a bit more simplification in this, because we do need to lift our productivity. We do want to see things happen. None of us want to see the economy not go well, but we also want to make sure that our environment stays healthy and has a longevity, so that we do have an economy that lasts forever.
Probably the biggest thing to note in all of this, Deon, is it reduces more than 100 policy statements and plans across 78 local authorities down to 17 regional combined plans, which, as you say, will take several years to implement. Is that a good thing, though? Is one of the unintended consequences of the RMA as we currently know it is that it was too top-heavy in terms of having to get consent to do everything?
Yeah, I mean, I could go into so much
to the point it became ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you could go into a lot of detail, and it will bore the pants off most of the people that are listening to you at the moment. But at the current way it is, at the moment, the RMA makes all of the planning decisions that you do for consents at the bottom end, which means that you need to get, you need to consult, you need to go and talk to this person, you need to get permissions to do that. They're wanting to do that at the front end, which is at the spatial planning. So one thing that I'm quite excited about is spatial planning for our region. That's where you'll do all of the consultation, you'll do the engagement with mana whenua, you'll do the engagement with your different communities of interest, the stakeholders and everybody. And then once all of that is set at that spatial planning level at the top of the top of the cone, and then you feed down to the individual consents, which is the activities that people want to do, such as farming or building a house or building, anything. There'll be less involvement with communities at that level. So there will be some people that will go, actually, that's a risk, but that's going to be traded off against having a more simplified system and enabling people to do the things that they want to do on their land.
Well, presumably there's now going to be less work when it comes to consents because there won't be as many required. Does that mean then we will see a dramatic decrease in the number of staff at Environment Canterbury?
Yeah, that is a good question, and we don't know the full impact on what this looks like. The legislation that they mooted today hasn't come into the House yet. That I imagine will be later today or tomorrow. Once we see that legislation and see the impact of what that looks like, we'll be able to give a bit more certainty to our staff. I mean, we're just coming into Christmas, and there will be a lot of people out in, across the regional councils across the whole country that will be going, okay, what does that mean for my job? Especially with the announcements that happened a few weeks ago as well. So I don't want to say that there's no work. There is still work to do. We've still got other things that the planners need to work on, but there is going to be an impact, and we do need some time to figure out what that actually means.
Yeah, only 2 weeks before Christmas. It seems like weird timing, but is there any good timing to introduce this type of legislation or reforms?
It just needs to be done. But the impact on people is going to be critical, and we need to make sure that we don't lose institutional knowledge as well. There's a lot of really good, smart people who work in this space and work in regional councils, especially in planning. And this new planning system is going to need planners to make the rules, the new rules, how they look at the regional scale. And if we lose that institutional knowledge when we start to implement this new system, there is a risk that we may lose some of those good people. So I'm really focused on making sure at this point in time that we don't lose those good people, because that would have an unintended consequence of dragging the process out and not getting it right in the first place.
Just finally, Deon, you put out a statement today with concerns over the lack of consultation for mana whenua. What does that mean?
Yes, I mean, the system that they're looking at introducing will, at the moment, the Resource Management Act invites mana whenua feedback through treaty settlements and other activities that they have. This new legislation will get rid of all of that. So what does that mean for the treaty settlements, for the iwi management plans that they have under other acts of Parliament? I don't know those answers, and we need a bit of time to work that out. But there is a risk there that this may end up litigated in different courts or whatnot, and we don't want that. We don't want to have that. So making sure that the feedback and that engagement is done right at the upfront level will be really critical.
Because the only ones that win are those in the lawyer seats, that's for sure. We'll leave it there. It's good to have you on the program, Dr Deon Swiggs, Environment Canterbury Chair. Thanks so much for your time tonight.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Thank you.